Hello everybody and welcome back to Esports Talk. My name is Caleb and finally we're getting some good Warzone news, depending on your outlook. Recently Raven Software made a post on Twitter unveiling their most recent patch notes, which included quite a few very requested adjustments to the game and unfortunately left a lot of people wanting and of course upset a lot of people, as inevitably there were some that took umbrage with some of the decision making processes that they've outlined for how they're going to handle patches and rebalances to the game moving forward. But a lot of folks are, even though they're upset with Raven Software's decision-making process and mindset moving forward, they're just happy to be getting some communication. So let's take a look at what the patch says and what we can glean from it, and then take a look at how people are responding to it. January 7th, Raven Software posted a link to their patch notes, which included adjustments to the double barrel, a bump in the threshold for overtime in plunder mode, and a couple of bug fixes. They also shared the following message, which relays a bit of their design philosophy for weapon balance in Caldera, allowing fans to understand their mindset when it comes to patches and rebalancing. Love it or hate it, it helps paint a picture of how they approached problems in the game and opens the door for more constructive, targeted feedback. If we know what their goals are, then we understand why they make the decisions they do. The incremental approach mentioned in the patch notes has drawn a lot of criticism, but perhaps more controversial is a post made further down. Follow me down the thread a little bit. Content creator and Warzone pro Sparos responded to the patch notes saying, "Love the heads up on the incoming balance and what you guys are trying to achieve. A while back you guys mentioned wanting to increase the time to kill through nerfs, etc. Has that goal been met, or can we expect to see other ways of raising it? More health?" To which Raven Software responds, "We feel that Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War weapons are in a fairly good spot. Similar to the Black Ops Cold War integration, Vanguard weapons will need time to receive the adjustments necessary to nicely slot into the Warzone ecosystem." This is of course in line with the patch notes post, but here's where things get interesting. As mentioned before, we will be decreasing base ADS speeds across all titles. This will increase time to kill slightly, as ADS should be considered when calculating practical time to kill values. Additionally, it'll give us room to emphasize the differences between weapon classes. The post has received a lot of attention, not all of it good. The ratio speaks for itself, but we can glean more insight by taking a closer look at some of the individual responses, many of which come from frequent features on this channel. I had to do several takes of that last sentence because I put a tongue twister in it. We've got Modern Warzone up first, stating, "I'm sure this has all been thought through. However, I feel the issue people have in Warzone is they feel they die before they have time to react. This change won't do anything for that if a player is already ADS when you appear. Just did a whole thread on this issue. I think you all should heavily reconsider this before implementing it or even beginning the process." Also in opposition is FaZe Kaylee. "Please, have you guys ever watched any other BR? Warzone has the highest TTK. Simply bring Iron Trials health and problem solved. What's the point of giving us that game mode for testing when you aren't going to do anything with it?" Next is Iceman Isaac, who not only replied to Kaylee but made his own direct reply. "This could reward static gameplay. Pre-aiming will become more valuable than movement or target acquisition. More base health, more recoil, less bullet damage, or less extremity damage multipliers would raise TTK while rewarding player growth/skill. There's a lot of people with blue check marks voicing similar opinions, and we won't be going through them all, but across the scores of fans replying verified or not, you may have noticed a common through line here. There's a lot of support for adjusting time to kill, not a lot of support for doing so through increased ADS, with increases in total health and decreases in bullet damage being heavily supported alternatives. While this is certain to be an ongoing discussion, and there's justified reason to take issue with Raven Software's methods and practices, some folks are just happy we're having this conversation in the first place." After kicking off the heavily discussed post, all Sparos had to say was "thank you for the update," and Iceman Isaac, who was part of the criticism earlier, followed up with a thread of his own. "Hey Raven Software, I know you're getting a lot of backlash over your recent tweet, but don't stop tweeting. Keep up this open conversation, please. Pivot your game plan based on mass community support, and let's revive Warzone in 2022. From my basic understanding, it seems Activision is really hindering your team in some ways, especially the QA team. Thus, as a community, we should be more patient with bugs, optimization, etc." He makes it clear the players feel disconnected, and while he and the community love Warzone, and they absolutely do love Warzone to be this dedicated despite all their complaints, they have issues with the design and want more open and frequent communication on what they're doing and why. Finishing with, "The tweet with Sparos may have some backlash, but now you can act on it. Better to be roasted on Twitter than implement a poor change that results in less players. Just to make sure we execute. Streamer mode hasn't changed almost a year later." Referencing a post from May 13th, 2021 about the issue with streamer mode not actually helping streamers. Sound familiar, anyone? There are, of course, a lot of other things to be talked about in terms of bugs, glitches, things that need rebalancing, but at the very least, we're having conversation now. And hopefully, as we move forward into 2022, that will only continue. And as Iceman Isaac posted, as he mentioned in his previous statement, it really is only fair that some of the blame goes towards Activision directly for the amount of support the Raven software is being given, rather than the devs who, as we can see, do have plans in mind, are trying to stick by the decision, and are trying to bring their vision of Warzone to the forefront, and now are making a greater effort to include the community in crafting that vision. Of course, how things shake out ultimately, only time will tell. Keep in mind that there is still an ongoing strike at Raven Software. There's all sorts of complications that are giving all the reason in the world for things to be very, very difficult. So hopefully, with a little bit of patience, Warzone could be the best it's ever been in 2022. But of course, if there's going to be ongoing discussion, you all out there should be part of it. So let us know in the comment section down below. Once again, how are you feeling about things? Are you happy the Raven Software is reaching out a little bit more and talking to the fans? Are you excited for what's coming in Warzone in 2022? Are you frustrated by the changes? And of course, what is your number one fix? What is the one thing you want to see addressed the most prominently? The first thing they gotta fix to get you back in the door when it comes to Warzone. Let us know in the comment section down below. Whenever more news breaks, we will be there with more coverage. But for the time being, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for joining us once again. My name is Caleb, and we will talk to you next time.